There was 2 placards held by young nurses on the picket line in Tala on Tuesday morning that summed up a very important aspect of this dispute. One said, "I'm not striking for the good of my health, I'm striking for the good of yours." And another was a message to the ministers: pay your nurses as if your life depends on it. It highlights that it's patient safety that suffers first and foremost as a result of the chronic underfunding of our health service over years under successive governments. And a key part of resolving that is paying staff properly and fairly in order to recruit and retain nurses here. I thought the move by the Minister on Monday night, offering negotiations to the media, not the INMO, was breathtaking in its cynicism, not only in terms of who the message was directed to, but in terms of what the message was. The message was crucially not about discussing the central issue of pay, but instead it was transparently about trying to shame the nurses for seeking pay rises and pay parity. But I have to say, it is the government which should be utterly ashamed of its behaviour in this dispute, and nurses should be unashamed in seeking pay parity. And broadly, working class people, ordinary people, support that demand for pay parity from nurses, because other workers are also experiencing the massive cost of living rises, in particular the cost of accommodation, and other workers also want to have a raise, and they rightly see that a victory for nurses is a victory for all workers. And the power of that support and solidarity was brought home to me on the picket line on James's Street, when firefighters came along with soup to support the nurses and were met with nurses with hugs and applause. That solidarity and support makes them very strong, and it means that they can have a victory here. The final point is in response to it: where will the money come from? How about the $250 million spent in 9 months last year on agency nurses driving a process of privatisation? How about the $270 million paid to Anglo junior bondholders supposedly burnt before Christmas? How about the $80 billion held by the richest 300 people? There's plenty of money there. The question is it used to enrich the super rich even further, to entrench inequality, to build a 2-tier privatised health service, or is it used to pay a decent wage and build a national health service that we need?